This is Beer in Front, part of the Odd Pods Media Network and the Beer Media Group. Sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. I'll talk to people around the beer world and get their stories all about beer. That's Beer in Front, and it's coming up now. Welcome to episode 216. The June 24th edition of Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris, and Beer in Front is a proud Odd Pods Media Network member and charter member of the Beer Media Group. On this episode, I sat down to talk some great local food with Aaron FitzPatrick. You might know him online as Fitz Magic. He travels all around town to find the best in Chicago eating. We stopped at the city location of Ravinia Brewing to have some of their great beer and tacos, all that and more on Beer in Front, and it's coming up now. Couple of things before the interview with Fitz Magic. Later on in the show, I'm going to have a Tecate. I don't think I've ever had that on the show, and it's been a long time since I had that classic Mexican lager. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to have a review of Tecate. People are asking about my back. It's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. So, Cliff Notes version. Well, not really Cliff Notes, but so I heard it in August. It's still not right, but I've done nothing but go to the doctors that I've been told to go to. I haven't gone to anybody on my own because this is a workman's comp deal. So I've gone to their doctors, their specialists, had their surgical procedures, all that. None of this I'm doing on my own, following their advice, which is to not lift anything more than 15 pounds. So between that and all of the steroids and everything, I've taken more steroids than Jose Canseco. So naturally, weight has been put on, and I haven't really done anything physical in 10 months. So they had another doctor of theirs say, oh no, he's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with his back. Dude, I can't tie my shoes, but okay, you're the doctor, you're the expert. So this jamoke thinks I'm fine. So I'm asking for what's called work conditioning. After you're off for a period of time, it's kind of like a week to 2 weeks where you build up endurance and you build up your strength, because if they want me to go back, I have to lift 70 pounds. Not all the time, but it's part of my job description. If I can't go. So that's part of this work conditioning. Like, I'll have to do that and prove to people that I can do it. So it's just, they're fighting back and forth. So my lawyer is appealing everything. Hopefully by the time this airs, I'll find out more and whether they want to give me work conditioning or just throw me to the wolves. But in the meantime, while they've been fighting, I stopped getting paid. So if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/beerinfront. But it's just a mess. It's like, all right, fine. If you want me to go back, then send me back to work and we'll just see what happens. But don't let me sit here for a month and keep me twisting in the wind without getting paid while you guys haggle it. So the back is a nightmare. I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. And hopefully this will all be resolved in the very near future. In beer and beverage news, sad news out of the state of Oregon, where Cascade has ceased operations after the death of their founder, Art Lawrence, last month. Cascade made some phenomenal sours, and that's really sad. Russian River is teaming up with Brooklyn Brewery to come out with a new beer. It's a Belgian-style blonde called Fonia, and they're going to use an ancient West African grain that requires no fertilizers or insecticides, and it uses very little water. There's no details on the exact release date, but this is going to be about a 5.5% beer. Sounds pretty cool, so I'm looking forward to trying Fonio from Russian River in Brooklyn. Coors Light has come out with a smart soccer jersey, and it's not made for soccer players. It's made for people like us, just slobs who drink beer. But this has built-in thermal sensors that will detect your body temperature and activate a cooling system to keep you chill. Now, it has a captain's band around the arm that also, I guess, has a koozie in it, so you could keep your bottle of Coors Light attached to your arm. You'd think the mountains would turn. The color should change. It should be like one of those hyper-color shirts. They missed out on that, but you could check out CoorsLight.com if you're interested in this cooling shirt. Bud Light and Post Malone, they're teaming up for a night in Nashville. Next month on July 16th, they're going to feature the upcoming new record from Post Malone. So that looks pretty cool. Keep an eye and ear out for that. Locally here in Illinois, unfortunately, Grays Lake Brewery Light the Lamp, they're going to cease operations on Sunday, June 30th. I had a couple of their things and I thought they were pretty good, but they're going to shut down on June 30th. Half Acre and Vienna Beef are teaming up once again for their only gold West Coast Pilsner. They're going to have a celebration on July 5th at the Half Acre Tap Room. They're going to have free Vienna Beef hot dogs, limited edition merch. I mean, the beer is really good. I had it the last couple of years. It's really good. The merch looks spectacular. So if you're in the Chicago area on July 5th, check out Half Acre's Only Gold. If you always wanted to invest in a brewery, Lake Effect Brewing, they're having, it's a honeycomb credit platform. They're using that to try to open up their new tap room, or their first tap room for that matter. It's like I don't know if it's not like a GoFundMe, but small people like you and I could use this honeycomb credit platform to invest in the business. Now, according to Lake Effect, those who invest, they also get a small piece of the company, and you get ownership in the company, ownership investing in the neighborhood when they open up in Avondale. So this looks pretty cool. For more information, check out Lake Effect Brewing. Germany has once again overtaken the U.S. They are now the world's biggest hop-producing country. 9 years ago, the U.S. took the title, but Germany took it back. So there's more hops grown in Germany than anywhere else in the world.
Hey, I'm Pantsless Aaron.
This is Stevie.
And I'm Augie.
And we are BFYTW, a podcast all about playing games and having fun. Our games are usually based on British panel shows and game shows, but we'll play anything that captures our attention and imagination. Why? It's right there in the title.
You'll never guess what the F stands for.
I'm back at Ravinia Brewing Company, 2601 West Diversey in the great city of Chicago. They also have another location at 582 Roger Williams Avenue in Highland Park. It's a great spot. I love the beer. I love the food. It's always good to support a local business. If you remember, I was here a couple months ago and I talked to them. They're going through some stuff right now. So if you get a chance, please support a great local business. But I'm not here to talk about Ravinia, which we are, but I'm happy to have Aaron FitzPatrick on. You may know him on social medias, Cheap Seats 411. If you want to know anything in the city about great spots to eat, Aaron is your guy. So Aaron, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me, Dave. It's a pleasure.
Tell folks about yourself, how you got started doing FitzMagic Eats.
So yeah, that I was telling you before, the whole food scene started, I guess, probably during COVID. Just everybody's making stuff in their backyards, and some things just sort of hit, and I sort of took it that direction. And then in 2021, when everybody started going back to the ballparks and everything, I actually sent out a tweet at a White Sox game that regarding the player they had at the time, Yermin Mercedes. Do you remember him? But they made a hamburger out of him. So they had a blurb of him up on the scoreboard, said that he was acquired by the White Sox in the Rule 5 draft. So I said, well, why not we make a beer after Yermin, name it Rule 5 draft? And the 108 guys got on board, and they got a hold of Goose Island, and within a week they had a beer named Rule 5 draft. And that sort of just propelled me for another year, and then I joined On Tap Sports and I started doing my food reviews that I do now there. It was On Tap Eats, and was there for a year. Now I'm on my own and traveling the city, finding little spots that you might not have heard of, and just little places, hot dog stands, and that love comes from traveling around with my dad. Back in the day, he was always adventurous when it came to food, didn't like going to McDonald's and Burger King and the staples. He always like, let's try this place. Okay, we'll go to Parky's. We're in Oak Park, and my favorite place was Charcoal Delights over there in Albany Park in North Park, where I grew up. So that's my love for the just Chicago fast food. It's the best in the world.
Oh, yeah. Like you mentioned, the White Sox. So can you tell people what is the deal with this campfire milkshake? And is it worth the hype?
So I got the chance to try that at their preseason, brought out their new food menu, and I got the chance to try it. It was very tasty. Whoever is the marketing genius behind that, they deserve a raise. You're not getting paid enough, because that's been a draw to the ballpark this year. I mean, when I had some family up over Memorial Day, we went over there about 4th, 5th inning. They were already sold out. It's one of those things that takes off. I mean, it's right up there with the Cabbage Patch Kid, I think, which is the excitement. So
that might be the only thing drawing people into the park so far.
It could be.
What does that thing run?
That's $17. Yeah, it's but you get the souvenir glass with it.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it looks huge. I know. I think they the White Sox put out a thing. Simone Biles was having it at a game, so they're really doing a good job of marketing the milkshake.
It is its own star this year. So,
well, we're here once again at Ravinia Brewing. I'm having their Night Ravine. This is a black IPA. I'm a big fan of black IPAs, and I like this. Really get the nice roasted malts there, good hops. What are you drinking, Aaron?
I've got the Diversity Station. A little hazy here, very citrusy. I'm particular to the lighter pilsners, and this is probably about as bold as I would go, but it's very good. I'll probably have one of these again. This is delicious.
Yeah, I mean, all of the beer here is great. For people that outside this area, when you think of Chicago food, you only think of two things. You think of hot dogs and pizzas, but we both know there's so much more to offer than a tavern cut or a hot dog. What are some of the types of food that you tell people to go get when someone's visiting Chicago for the first time?
That's a very difficult question. I've talked about it with some friends. I think we need to set up like a tutorial on when somebody asks me where should I go for food. But of course there's Italian beefs. Those are, that's another Chicago staple. And I think you can get a good one on wherever you're at. You're within short distance away, because there's a lot of good ones out there. The taco scene in Chicago is as good as anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the Maria tacos are really kind of the all-stars right now, and there's plenty of good ones, again, all over the city. Even some of the suburbs, you can find them. Some other good things. Wow, geez. You were talking about ramen. That's another thing that Chicago is starting to get a lot of popular things. And also, you're talking about deep dish pizza. There's always tavern style.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will swear by that as Chicago style. And I say you can have both. I am just a proponent of if it tastes good to you, a friend of mine says, don't yuck your yum. And
if you like it, God bless you.
I love tavern style. I love deep dish. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah. And it's hard too. Like people, they'll ask me about beer. It's like, well, where are you staying?
Right. Exactly.
Where are you going to be at?
I just had somebody ask me on Twitter, X, where can I get an Italian beef? I said, okay, well, where are you going to be staying? Broke it down from there. I'm like, well, I'm going to be downtown. Is there anything good downtown? Yes, there is. There's Luke's on Jackson. Go there. It's one of the best beefs around. So, and then if you want to go a little further south, you're getting into Taylor Street and you've got Al's,
Yeah.
So,
going out to the suburbs, you can go to Johnny's.
Oh, yes.
So many great spots.
Yes, definitely. So just tell me where you're going, where you're going to be, how long you're going to be there, and then I can give you a little better answer. So.
Yeah. When you're not like dining out, do you cook a lot at home?
I sure do. I always say my wife is the cook of our household. She's Cuban and makes some of the most wonderful Cuban dishes that she got from her mother, but she just doesn't have time. So back in the day, I was stay-home dad, and at the time, 24 years ago now, wow, it's been that long. I was macaroni and cheese and fish sticks. My mother, she was a short order cook at a restaurant, and she learned how to cook fast, good meals. Meat, potato, vegetable. She gave me some lessons, and then from over the years, I got a hold of a grill. So yeah, my favorite thing to put on a grill, I think it goes between either bratwurst or beer can chicken. Those are like my two just absolute favorites.
Would you consider, like, say, the beer can chicken, would that be your signature go-to dish that you make?
I think if I'm trying to impress somebody, like, be a little more fancy, that's probably it. If I'm having a group of people over, let's get those brats out, let's get some burgers, things like that. I make a good burger, too. Yeah. So,
Are you grilled burger, or are you on the smash burger train that's extremely popular now?
So, like, during the winter when I can't get on the grill, that's when I do the smash. But if I can get out on the grill, I just like the whole experience of being out on the grill. So
get some pup burgers from Jewel when they're on sale, and you're good to go.
Definitely.
Yeah. What I love about Chicago and the area is you don't have there's really no chain restaurants outside of your fast food places. I think you have one Olive Garden on Addison, but outside of that, you don't have a ton of chain restaurants outside of your Portillo's or, fast food spots. You have great spots all over, from like Rico Benny's to Vito and Nick's to up north Nuno Kebab and plenty of others. What are some of your favorite places to eat in the city or Chicagoland area, for that matter?
Yeah, right. I can't forget. Suburbs have plenty of good food. Northwest Indiana, too. I think my favorite spot, and this kind of gets into like what I like to do, is I always go back to Charcoal Delights, Kedzie and Foster. I used to spend lunches there with my grandfather who lived with us. I would get a double cheddar burger with ketchup, mustard, and pickles. I loved their char dogs, their milkshakes, and it's one of those catch-alls. They got good gyros and everything. And so that would probably be my favorite spot in the city. And it's because, and it's what I find when I talk to a lot of people, you say, what's your favorite beef? What's your favorite pizza? It's the one you grew up with. It's the one in your neighborhood, the one your dad took you to, when you went for birthdays, One spot that I bring up a lot that everyone sort of has a memory of is Barnaby's. There's the pizza out there, because everyone had their pizza party there. My Little League team had their pizza party, and they had their birthdays. It's just, it's the memories, the nostalgia, more than maybe even the taste of the things. It's got to be good or it won't last. But it's those memories that build, and that's the beauty of Chicago. Every neighborhood has their own.
Yeah. I think, what is there, only like one Barnaby's left, or is there?
I think there's
many?
Two.
Okay.
There's the one in, was it Niles or Des Plaines, like right on that border, and I think there's one, is it north of there?
Yeah, I know there's one north, probably close to the other location of Ravinia. I know that one's there. I think the one in Des Plaines closed down.
It did.
For a while, I used to live right there, in Rosemont, and that was always good. I know, like, that's the one my mother loved. So my mother would always say, hey, on your way, can you stop and give me a small cheese?
Right. I think the guy tending bar there is still the guy that was there when I was there 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I was a kid. So, yeah.
You mentioned that you had your family in from out of town. Like, I saw that, you took them to Sox game, you did all that. Is like, I think she was your niece. Is she like calling people a jagoff or putting ketchup on her hot dog right now? Ketchup on hot dog?
No, but she enjoys it. She enjoyed the Chicago dog. Her dad, my cousin, he enjoyed it. In fact, he went back home and made some right away, I think the next day, and sent me a picture that they're making their own. He took some relish with him because they can't find that relish in Baltimore. But they definitely fell in love with some Chicago staples. I got the pizza puff and went to Giordano's for some stuffed pizza, and we had the Chicago dogs and Johnny's for beef, and they love it. They might. It was worth the 12-hour drive, they said.
Yeah.
So.
And actually, Johnny's, they got the New Star Chinese right across the street from Johnny's. That's another great local spot that's outstanding. I love New Star.
Yeah, that's another Chinese restaurants. We all have our neighborhood one that that we know and love, and so.
I mean, obviously, you couldn't give it to your niece, but did you hook them up with Malort?
No, I did not hook them up with Malort. I'm sorry I let people down with that. We've just had a short amount of time trying to get as much in. Maybe I'll take a bottle out to them I think we might go out to Baltimore in the fall and take some with, and spread the Malort message.
Yeah, you wanted them to come back. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite breweries for either food or like places like this that have great food?
Okay, so I went to the Guinness one when they opened up, and they had some good. The mashed potatoes are out of this world, but then and everybody knows Guinness, and I keep forgetting it was District Brewery Yards over on Ashland. My daughter took me there for my birthday. We went there before a Bulls game, and they had a brisket fries to go along with the beer that was out of this world. I really enjoyed the food there, and also just I like the sample. They give you that card and you go and get a little bit, and because I like to just taste a little bit here and there. So that was a good one. So I've been to Old Irving. It's my first time at Ravinia. Thank you for doing this. This is love seeing new spots. So we'll see how this is. So far, so good.
Yeah.
When
you're like researching new places to go, whether you're going to do a video or just going to do a test, a drive-by, what are things that you look for in a restaurant or a spot to try?
A lot of times, I get a lot of suggestions from folks. I've got a notebook full that I could spend 3 years on, I think. And, I was at work and a guy came in with a burrito, looked really good. I said, "Where'd you get the burrito from?" He said, "Fred and Jack's." Okay. 2 days later, I was at Fred and Jack's over in the Chatham neighborhood and got a burger there, and they had some chicken fries that were delicious. And so that's kind of it. It's just hearing it, I might hear something on the train. I might hear something in the grocery store. Just, they're eating it. They're not falling over dead. It must be good. Let's go try
it. Have a pulse, we can check it out.
Right.
Has someone ever raved about a place? And I don't want you to throw them under the bus to their place, but has someone ever raved about a spot and you went there and it's like, no, this is no good?
Well, I will say this. I was at a spot. It was south of Chicago. I went in there for the food. I won't even say what kind. It was, I would never go back there for the food. However, the person who served me was so kind and generous, I would go back and get a Coke just for that. But it wasn't a good eating experience. But I don't want to, it was just, it didn't match my taste. Yeah. It wasn't like it was spoiled or anything like that. But it just, yes, so there's a few places that I just, no, but again, the service was really nice, and I would go back in there and get a Coke if I was thirsty.
Yeah,
just because
they were that nice.
It wasn't their fault, So yeah, I don't like everything. I just don't necessarily put it out there.
Yeah, that's kind of with me. I know, like there's some people who've given me beer, and I'm like, oh, the microphone didn't work that week or something. Yeah, I don't want to, like, everybody's working hard. I don't want to, poo-poo them or whatever. But a beer that's still really good is what I'm drinking this night, Ravine.
Okay, yeah.
I wish, like, black IPAs would have been more popular. I know they were big like 10, 12 years ago, but this is really good.
Yeah, this it's probably not something I would have just chosen on my own. Like I'm into the Pilsners and the lighter side, but I'm glad I did. This is like
their Taco Fest is really good. And actually, I know I've seen that in cans. Like, I think even my Jewel. If it's not Jewel, I know Benny's carries Taco Fest, right? Yeah, I know. So, yeah, you could find that. That's in a bright pink can.
Okay.
And that's really good.
I got you.
Something you might like is, I still see it, Community Matters. When I was here in February, that's a Vienna lager. That's excellent. I mean, Vienna lager is more like a Samuel Adams type, but that one's really good. So, maybe give that one a try, because that's one of my favorite Vienna lagers that's out there.
Yeah, okay. We'll definitely note that.
Yeah. Have you been to Smoke Steak yet?
I have not.
That's really good. Like, my wife and I have been there twice. We were there a couple weeks ago. It was my birthday, so my wife took me there. And that's, for a Chicago steakhouse, it won't break the bank.
Okay.
They do a really good job with the sous videing of the steaks, and then sear it, and then they give it a little smoke ahead of time. So you're not, you don't need to take out a second mortgage like if you're going to Gibson's or Gino Giorgetti's or something like that. But that's like a really good thing. Even my wife, and she ordered the chicken, because she's like, I kind of have a taste for chicken, and it wasn't that great. And boy, the service was absolutely phenomenal. They're like, tell us what you want, we'll make it right. And even the manager came to me and he says, I tried a little and you were 100% correct. Could have been nicer, and like the steaks are phenomenal there.
Okay. Definitely put that one
Add
down.
that to your list.
Yeah.
I don't have a pen with me here.
I will be sure to find it. Don't worry.
Are there places that are on your list, like you're dying to try, your bucket list, that for just one reason or another you haven't had a chance to hit it yet?
There's one, Punky's Pizza over in the Bridgeport area. I have not been at Rico Benny's over there, been in other places over in that area. Just haven't gotten to Punky's, It's like, hear about it all the time. Yeah. And even there's a lot of places I'm trying to get to that I haven't been to in years, like with Gene and Jude's. I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been up there. There's a lot of pizza places that just people are like, you got to get over here. I haven't been to Phil's in years, but that's one of the, that's Chicago as you can get. So there are places. I keep getting some requests. There's a Filipino breakfast, and I think it's in this area. I can look it up. That's something I really haven't done is tapped on is breakfast as far as reviews. I get to Huck Finn's and places like that, but I need to brace.
I think that's not too far from there, far from me, because I'm at like Montrose and Western.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's all that far from me.
I can't remember the name of that.
We both mentioned Rico Benny's, which is one of my favorite spots. Have you had the steak on the pizza there?
No, I have not.
Yeah, that's something I'm dying to try. And it wasn't Rico Benny's, but I remember, back at Old Comiskey Park, my friend took me to this place. This had to be mid to late 80s. So it was after the 83 Sox, but, before they took it down. It was like a shack, like a hole-in-the-wall shack. And he's like, oh, this place is known for their steak sandwiches. And it was really close to Comiskey Park. And that was still like one of the best meals I've ever had. And, Rico Benny's was like right there with it, but I wish I knew the name of it. I'm sure it was torn down after they sherified the neighborhood.
Well, there's a lot of that's a good one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good eats just outside the park. There's a little food truck type place on Morden Dogs right at 34th and Shields. You get a great hot dog there on 35th Street Red Hots. The Maxwell Street up on 31st Street. That's been, and then there's George's. If you go down to Halstead, George's has got great gyros over there and pizza puffs, and there's a lot of good stuff to eat around the ballpark. If you don't want to spend $17 for a milkshake, you know.
Yeah, Pizza Puff. Who is it? I think Chicago History put something out. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before. They just put something on X or Twitter about pizza puffs. I'm like, yeah, just don't get the ones at Jewel.
Right.
You know, they've been sitting under a heat lamp all day, but pizza puffs are the best.
Yeah, that's something I posted about a year ago. If a place has a pizza puff, I buy the pizza puff.
Yeah.
With everything else, I gotta get a pizza puff. And so I was just up at McDuck's, not far from here actually, and that was where I had my first pizza puff 40 years ago. And they were just a, how do you describe them? They're just deep fried goodness. You know? It's like,
it's not an empanada.
Yeah.
It's
a pizza
puff.
tortilla. You know,
Yeah.
It's a deep fried tortilla, and it's just good.
Yeah.
I think that was Baltimore Megan's favorite item was the pizza puff. She just liked it. You hold it in your hand and.
And now, like, they're getting bougie. They have, like, a buffalo chicken one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, how about just a regular pizza
Just
puff?
some meat sauce and some cheese, and we're good. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite cities outside of Chicago for food?
So 2 years ago, I was in New Orleans for the first time, and you know. So I was there for about 4 days and just tried to eat as much as I could. My wife was at a conference and I was out eating, so did that. I lived for about 11 years, about an hour north of Memphis, in a town, Blytheville, Arkansas, right off of 55. So Memphis barbecue is, you know, I love the dry rub and the vinegar base and things like, you know, the Rendezvous or the
Barbecue
Neely's
shop.
barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, Neely's is one of my favorite just restaurants to go to. And just the town I tell people, for catfish, the best catfish I've ever had was at a place is at a place called Benny Bob's in Blytheville. They're not open on weekends, so it's like when people are passing through on a weekend, they can't stop there. But it's the best catfish anywhere, deep fried catfish I've had anywhere. So if you're ever in Blytheville, Arkansas, Monday through Friday between about 11 and 5, because they run out, try Benny Bob's. It's best catfish there.
I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but like if someone put a gun to your head, name your favorite Chicago pizza, your favorite Chicago hot dog, your Italian beef.
Okay, so you're really putting me on the spot with that one. I can't give you 3. I got to give you 1.
You can give me, all right, you can give me 3. All right.
Okay. Well, I break it down as my favorite place. It's got to be good, obviously, but just my favorite place to have pizza is Palermo's on 95th.
Okay.
And just the ambiance, the food is great, you know.
Was that the one you had yesterday in the bag?
No, that was, oh boy, that was a takeout place on Harlem. Very good, you know, very good. Italian beef. This one gets tricky because every time I try something, I go, oh my, this is, you know, that's one of those things where I haven't tried as many different things. What would I say if I had to just do one and that was it? Oh my goodness. I think it'd be Johnny's.
Yeah.
Again, waiting in line on a hot summer night, throw in some Italian ice.
Oh yeah, you have to get the Italian ice.
It's the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, that doesn't mean anything else is bad. You know, it's just, if you were just to say one, hot dog. I would either go Charcoal Delights there or Super Dog.
Okay.
Super Dog's another memories and just, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Even and I don't think I've ever had the burger.
I have. It's
and
very
my
good.
wife
It's
is
very
like,
good.
my wife is on the burger, and it's just like one of those things, like the hot dog's so good, I don't want to not get the hot dog when I'm there. So, but no, the burger's there according to my wife, and now you are
Yes,
top notch.
my daughter will go for the burger when we go there, and she loves it. And as I get older, I can just, like you, I've got to have the hot dog because that's what it is. But I've had many burgers there, and they are delicious. Their milkshakes are good, and it's just a great place to go. In fact, that was one of the things you could do during the pandemic. You could put everybody in the car.
Roll the windows down,
right.
put a Super Dog.
You're fine, you know. So that it's just one of those places.
Have you ever been to? It's up north on Irving, close to Cumberland, Bobo's?
No, I haven't.
Bobo's, I think it was Eater or Time Out, one of those type of things, but they were rated, and I've been to Bobo's 1,000 times. Okay. Great beefs and great hot dogs.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of like their fries are like Gene and Jude's, where they hand cut. It's just a greasy bag of fries.
Okay.
It's excellent, but no, they're hot dogs and beefs, but it's a little hole-in-the-wall place on...
Oh, no.
Yeah. Irving, like Cumberland, I would say would be the nearest, like, major intersection.
When you were saying Irving Park, before you said Cumberland, I was thinking you were going to say Byron's, which is another... That's one of my favorites. I had their what is it, the Dogzilla?
Yeah.
On a French roll.
I just watched that video last night, yes.
This is delicious.
Yeah.
That's another favorite. What was it?
Like pizza places, you mentioned that.
There was, let's see, Nancy's was always one growing up. There was a Super Rosa was another.
Weren't they like bickering?
Yeah, because
I remember like what was it on like Lawrence and Harlem or whatever? Yeah, I remember like I was always Nancy's growing up.
Yeah, and Eduardo's, that was another big one. There's almost too, I can't say there's too many because there's never too much good food out there.
Yeah.
There's always, but you mentioned French fries, and I got to get back there, but there's a place up on Peterson, Mr. Kebab, and I was told to go there for the shawarma, chicken shawarma, but I got there, they were out. I was like, So the guy, I told him that we come all the way from the south side. He's like, I'll make you some fries that you'll never forget. And he sure did. He did some French fries. I'm going to go back just to get the French fries. It's Peterson near Western over that area. It's, Mr. Kebab. That's another food trend. The shawarma.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's
like
good places around.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned Nuno Kebab before. That's one of my favorite spots. I mean, before I let you go, because I know they're going to get some lunch people in here, have you ever been to Badaki's?
I have not.
Badaki's is another place on Lawrence, right by Damon. Great hot dog spot, and they do a Korean beef bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
It keeps going up every time I go in there. Like when we started going there, it was like $7. Now I think it's $12.50, but that's really good. And it's just pizza puffs. They have everything, but you have to get the Korean steak bowl.
Oh, yes. Okay.
At a hot dog stand, it's the best.
Okay. Very good.
Aaron, I'm going to let you go here because we're going to start eating.
Okay,
so we can't do that with microphones on because no one wants to listen to me eat. But Aaron, tell everyone where they could find you.
Yeah, so I am on Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok at CheapSeats411. And I also have my YouTube page. If you're asking where should I go, check my YouTube page because I realize I've got in the past year or so over 30 places on there now. Like, I didn't even realize it, and I've got about 3,000 more to go. So
all right.
I'll just keep putting them up there. I usually get one every week. And Thursdays is usually when I put one out. So I've got one coming out tomorrow. I did a happy hour in West Loop. So that was a little different, a little out of my lane, but I wanted to give it a try because that's Chicago too. It's outdoor patio season. So, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Once again, we are at Ravinia Brewing Company. Don't get it confused. It's the brewing company. They're located at 2601 West Diversey. They also have a location in Highland Park at 582 Roger Williams Avenue. Great local spot. The beers are phenomenal. The food is great. We'll talk about the food in a little bit or on a video. So once again, you don't have to listen to me chew, but it's a great spot. You need to go to either location. The food's great. The beer is great. You will not be disappointed. And please support local Illinois breweries. Aaron, thank you again, sir.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, the beer that's in front of me right now is Tecate. Tecate's been around since the 1940s. It's a classic Mexican lager. It's made in the town of Tecate in Baja, California. It's still proudly brewed there. Top-selling beer in the country. I don't think I've ever had Tecate on the show, and it's been years since I've had this beer. So the weather's getting hot out there. It's time to fire up the grill, have something a little lighter. So I'm going to bust open the Tecate. Oh, this has a nice golden color. Good foam on this. Smells good. Just smells like a nice classic macro lager. That's good. I drink this again. 4.5% alcohol. Thirst quenching. Can't go wrong there. Got a nice flavor. You get... Trying to think, it's a little malt sweetness. I don't know if they use any adjuncts like corn in this. It doesn't say, but I'm getting some kind of sweetness, so it could be. I think it's good. I mean, this is something you'd crush at 4.5%. It's light. It's not offensive. Now, this is like the official beer of fighting. I think they're like big in the sponsorships of boxing. So I guess if you need to go out and rumble, have a Tecate. But no, I like this. I think it's been a while since I had a Corona. I think I would prefer this over a Corona if you were grabbing a Mexican lager. Next week, I'm going to do, if it's not next week, it's in the fridge. So I'll have it in the next couple weeks, Pacifico, because I haven't had one of those in a long time. But no, Tecate's pretty good. Like, you're going to a barbecue, you're going to sit outside, like here in Chicago as I'm recording this, it's 90-something degrees. You don't want something heavy. You crush a couple Tecates and you'll be in good shape. So if you see it, put it in a cart. Fornero in el carro. After I was done with the Tecate segment, Ruby said, why don't you make a chilada? Now, as everyone knows, my wife Ruby is Mexican-American, so we had the other Tecate, and like, this is something I've never made. So she's like, no. So we took she took 2 limes, squeezed the juice in a big glass, and then rimmed the glass with salt. And now she started it, so you're not going to get the can open sound here. But I have the last half of this here. So it's pretty easy. It's just your beer with salt and lime. So let's give this a whirl here. That's pretty good. I like it. Like, years ago, you'd put like the wedge of lime in the Corona, but this is actually the juice of 2 limes. So you have more of that lime flavor with the salt. I think this is really good. Like, why has my white ass not had this before and drank this? Because, like, this is something you would just drink all the time. It's really good. I'm going to have some more. I think she might have used too much salt. I mean, I got hypertension, babe. What's she trying to do? She's trying to get my riches by giving me all this salt. But no, the chilada is excellent. I like it. If you have some Mexican lager laying around and you have some nice juicy limes, make yourself a chilada. That's going to wrap things up for this edition of Beer in Front. I thank you very much for listening, and I want to thank again Aaron FitzPatrick for coming on to talk about some great Chicago spots to eat. Once again, you could find him online at Cheap Seats 411. I also want to thank the fine people at Ravinia Brewing for hosting us and turning the music down so we could talk. Have a great week, everyone. I'll see you next week on the show. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet.